Okay, my grasshoppers, on to the second part of the one-handed topspin backhand common threads. We're going to use Roger Federer as the main model and the same characters that we used on the previous video. Now we're going to pick up the stroke pretty much right there, right after the shoulder turn, and we're going to be discussing the stroke phase of the stroke. Now, the first thing we're going to work on is, we're going to be looking at is really the rhythm of the stroke. Is the tempo between when you begin the stroke phase and you take your last step. And then all those guys, when you'll see that right when that heel to toe weight transfer happens right there, right when they're ready to step in, you will see that the stroke phase begin. The racket will start to drop into the power position right there. So right as that foot, there's correlation right there between the foot hitting the ground right there and the stroke beginning. So we're going to go through all the rest of the guys right there, starting with James Blake, and you'll see the heel to toe happens, boom, and that's when the racket begins to drop. Same thing with Michael Usney right there. You will see it will step in, even though stepping across, the racket will start to drop. You will see my assistant here, Razili, as he steps the heel to toe, you will see the racket. So it's really to get good rhythm into your stroke. If you're struggling, not getting an effortless swing, you feel like you're muscling the ball, you must not have a good correlation between your footwork and when the stroke begins. Here we see as the step begins, the knee bends, and then the stroke goes into the racket begins. And yes, a shameless plug, I'm going to put myself in this video because I think I have a pretty decent one-handed backhand, but not like these guys though. But anyway, you'll see my heel to toe hits right there, and that's when my stroke begins. So that's the first part. The first common thread is really the rhythm between the racket and the leading foot that you're going to be stepping with. Now, on the second common thread I'm going to be talking about right now is the left hand and the power position. Look how long the left hand is going to remain on the racket right through the power position right there. So we're going to stop the racket right in the power position, which is back right there, and then you will see where the left hand is. Now let me continue with the left hand just a little bit, and I'll go back to the power position in a second, and see how the left hand stays on pretty much the racket right up until it's across the left hip right there. You will see it with Michael Usney right here. The left hand is going to stay all the way and let go right about there. Same thing with James Blake. The left hand will stay as long as you possibly can. Look at that, how long he kept his left hand. Tommy Haas does a great job of doing so. And the main reason why you want to do that is going to help you really have a nice fluid motion. And a lot of my students have a tendency of letting go too early, and then they start pulling the arm instead of dropping the racket to the hitting zone right there. And I'm going to show you how my left hand, same thing here. I'm going to keep my left hand on the racket and let go right about my left hip right there. So that left hand plays a very, very, very important part of the stroke. You must hang on to the racket right up onto your left hip. Now let's go quickly to the power position. Now the power position is when the racket is pointing pretty much, the racket is going to be parallel to the back fence right there, and it's going to be perpendicular, pretty much parallel to the back fence and perpendicular to that fence right there. And I'm not going to waste time drawing on everybody, but you will see that they all do it right there. They all have a great power position right there. Look at James Blake right there. Look at where that racket is pointing back there, and it is parallel to that back fence right there. So quickly, we're going to show you Richard Gasquet, same thing. Now check out his left hand right there. Look at that power position. The racket is almost pointing right back at us at the camera right here. Watch Razili right there, huge power position. Look at where that racket is back there. If you're lacking power, you're lacking of not taking your racket back far enough deep into the power position right there. And that is so important to be able to really unload a backhand with power right there. So watch that racket is back there. So that's the very, very, very important part right there. Now, into the power position, into the backswing, from the ready position, you had the little L. If you haven't seen that video yet, of the little L, don't want to waste time on this video. It's the relationship between, let me quickly show it to you right here with Roger. I'm not going to go through all the guys. Is the little L, is this right here, that 90-degree angle between the grip and the hand and the racket, and that stays all the way through, and it's so important to have it right here. And with the common thread that they have, okay, so the little L, check out that video. We're going to move on, and right from when you let go of the left hand, this is the next common thread that I'm talking about, is with the butt cap of the racket. I hate it when they use the wrong tool. The butt cap of the racket pointing at the ball right there. See, attacking the ball pretty much with the butt cap first, right? Do not lead with the racket. You have to come at the ball. Let me put James Blake right here on the right. And I'll show you how, same thing. They all do the same thing right there. The butt cap coming at the ball right there. See that? The butt cap of the racket pointing. We get same thing with Richard Gasquet from a good angle from the back right there. You can see the butt cap right at the ball. It will show you Raz right there. Same thing. The butt cap coming right at it right there. And Tommy Haas, same thing. Boom, coming at it, left hand letting go, butt cap at the ball right there. Do not throw the head of the racket at the ball. Lead with the butt cap, and you're going to slowly roll your forearm right there to make contact at a 90-degree angle, which we're going to be talking about in a second right there. And so important, watch this. I have my racket right there, the butt cap leading right there, butt cap pointing at the ball right there. Don't throw the head of the racket at the ball. Now, the next little piece right there I want to show you is if you want to get some power into your stroke. On the forehand, you can hit with an open stance. You can really rotate your whole body. But watch what Roger does right there. And a lot of pros do this, okay? Watch the back foot right here. How the back foot came inside the front foot as he's hitting the ball. He tucks it in right there. And that's how you can put a little more body, a little more force into your shot right there. Watch how Stan is going to do it. Watch his back foot. Okay, watch how that back foot is going to slide in right here as he's going to hit it. Boom, right inside. You can see James Blake doing it right here as well. Boom, the back foot coming in. Now, that's one way because you cannot uncoil really. You don't want to open up, so you got to throw your back hip into the shot by sliding your back foot inside right there. And you'll see Tommy Haas do it, but he's pretty much jumping into the shot. But same thing, you can see how that leg came in right there. It didn't come around, but you get the back foot to come in instead of on the forehand you come around. On the back end you go on the inside. So that's very important if you want to get a little more power right there. Okay. Now again, oops. Sorry, don't keep putting myself instead of Roger Federer there. What am I thinking? Here we go. Let me put Roger back in his place right there. And same thing with my foot coming in right here. See that the back foot, watch my back foot as I kind of slide it. I was raised on red clay court, so I slide my back foot a lot. But watch how that foot, it can coming in right there to get a little more power into my stroke. It's a very, very important part of your footwork. Now, the point of contact, very similar to all the guys right there. 90-degree angle. The little L is still there. Right there. The left hand is still tucked in behind. And that's so huge right there. Watch the point of contact. Great angle right there. 90 degrees right there. Left hand is behind right there. So important. Once again, same thing with Tommy Haas. The 90-degree angle. You can see that little L I keep talking about. If you haven't seen that video, I'm telling you, keep going back to it. You have to be like this at contact. Okay? And on every single backhand that you hit right here. And I do it too right there. One thing I can do is hit a one-handed backhand, and there's that angle right there. Same thing when I'm making contact with the ball. So you really got to make sure you hit the making contact well out in front, not like a one-handed backhand slice. And then the follow through at the end is pretty much, they're all equal right there. They just release the racket. The left hand has to stay behind. You will see how the left hand stays behind for balance. Your hips can open up a little bit, but once again, the darn little L right there, guess what? That angle stayed all the way through. I'll show you with James Blake how both hands, everybody's going to look like Roger right there at the end. See that? This right here and that right there. This is how we're going to finish up with the follow through. Even though he got way twisted over there, I can still find that angle right there, and the left hand step behind. He opened up his hips a little bit more because he was more on the run on this one. See, he was more moving to the ball. And is his rise right there kind of coming through and hitting that ball. Watch the little L right there. It stayed all the way through. Anyways, those are the finishing up that videotape analysis. I hope you liked it. I hope I didn't confuse you too much. I hope I didn't talk too much or too fast. And I'm trying to do my best to get a little bit better at doing these videos. But once again, you can check out my website, www.tennisoxygen.com. I have a lot of articles, interesting stuff that you can watch and listen to and read. And we'll finish up here with Mr. Roger Federer all by himself hitting a beautiful one-handed topspin backhand. Hope you enjoyed it, and on to the next video.